Hi guys, this is Shelley over at The Complete Combatant.
And this is Brian, also at The Complete Combatant.
Guys, we've got a lot of things that we're doing in 2023. So we just wanted to do a video that talks to you about some of the things we're updating or revamping or even being more consistent with. And the first thing we want to talk about that the changes are starting in 2023, these are probably all going to be implemented in January, so look for it soon, is things on our YouTube channel. So I'm going to turn this over to Brian. We've got our little notes here, but I'm going to turn it over to Brian and let him talk to you about some of the things that he's personally doing.
So my idea is this: the YouTube channel should be a supplement to your training, and that should be at home or with clients, taking somebody else's class, or hopefully if you take my class. And what I'm going to do is break it into 3 parts. The first one will be deliberate coaching, so I'll make videos that address issues, common concepts that I use in deliberate coaching, and that will help you either take the class or improve yourself. Things that I'll be focusing on is how you can be a better coach, how you can build a curriculum that takes advantage of neuroscience and modern coaching methodology, and how you can become a better shooter yourself or recognize what your client needs. And this will be kind of an addendum. Each video will give you bits and parts of that, and I think that'll help a lot in the future to make it easier for it and get some of this information out into the shooting community.
So that's the deliberate coaching one.
Deliberate coaching.
Okay, what else you got?
All right, so we're doing a new program this year. A new course is called The Inner Game of Shooting, and it comes from the book that changed my life when I was a kid. Our young coach, I read The Inner Game of Tennis, and now we're going to do The Inner Game of Shooting.
Okay.
And it was a very adaptive way to do it. So in the videos, I'm going to address some things that I'll be doing in the course. How to gather data correctly, how to improve yourself as a shooter, how to handle psychological pressures, physiological pressures, how to have a good preparatory index when you step up. So this will be about changing yourself, improving yourself as a shooter, recognizing common pitfalls. I think a lot of times as we train, we feel really isolated.
Yeah, for sure.
Know? And we're the only one going through this, but we've got a lot of great ways to work around these. Some of the stuff is very counterintuitive too. It's not what is commonly preached, this is how you fix things. It's actually very different than that.
Yeah.
So when I started, I would love to have somebody spend some time on these things. So on the YouTube channel, we'll be working on that.
Okay.
And then this course will really focus on each individual shooter and how they can improve instead of just be driven like, here's the course and I'm going to teach it. It'll have structure, but it's going to teach you these processes.
All right, I've got a question. Guys, these are not rehearsed. Seriously, we just had our to-do list, but this, as we're talking, you're going to get real questions. It's a real question. So this particular class, you could come, I know all of our classes you can come as much as you want, but this particular class, let's say that you take the Inner Game of Shooting March 2023 and then you take it again March 2024. If it's not based on curriculum for the whole, but based on the shooter itself, how is that different? What would someone expect to come twice?
So my curriculum is circular by nature instead of linear.
Okay.
Most people's curriculum is you start here and you finish here. But what I look at is a big circle, and I take pieces of the pie and plug it in. So maybe you come to class and you don't understand shot calling. So the emphasis in that class and your training and your drills will emphasize that particular feature that you need to improve.
Okay.
Or maybe you don't do well when you step to the line. You're afraid of the timer, or you perform poorly.
Right.
Maybe you're not accurate.
Right.
So I can plug these things in. There's a structure to the class,
Of course.
but it allows modules to be plugged in for each individual shooter. I had to do this in martial arts because I had 20 different people on the mat.
So if you come once to this and you come here because you're going to grow, we would hope, as a shooter, then what might be plugged in on another time would be something that it was nothing to do with what was going on the year ago. Does that make sense? Am I asking the right question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for the shooter, there's a maturation process as you improve. You know, when you first learn, you just have to learn how to work the firearm.
Yeah.
Then you have to be safe.
Yeah.
Then you have to hit the target. Then you need to become more efficient with your movements. And then you have to be able to perform at a high level. And what happens is most of us get stuck in phase 1 or phase 2. And we do that over and over and over. And we do it harder. And it doesn't improve us. So how do we get to the other phases? And your journey should be a progression like this.
Yeah.
We know as a shooting athlete or client, you're going to get better. as time goes on. And if you're not getting better, what you need is a coach to say,
Yeah.
hey, listen, you're really stagnant right now.
Yeah.
Let's move ahead. Here's the area you're missing. People often double down on their strengths and ignore their weaknesses.
Right.
So this will be a class
Awesome.
that'll plug into weaknesses.
Awesome. Guys, that's a new class, so this is all new to me as well, so that's very cool. And what was the third class that you're going to focus on video-wise in 2023?
So we're going to talk about red dots, which is a bit of a misnomer. We have green dots, we have gold dots, we have red dots, but we're talking about optics on our pistol, and they have tremendous advantages. And every major manufacturer now is offering an optic-ready pistol, but also a couple disadvantages. If you were to train with somebody who's an expert in the field who spends all their time with red dots, it's going to help you jumpstart it. So I thought, well, maybe if I do some videos on common things that I see, well, they'll be primarily focused on three things. Setting up your optic for success and understanding how to zero it, all the basic things that come with that. But we're going to talk about your perception and how your perception works relative to your vision, and creating a good model that allows you to do it, and then technical competence that allows you to find a dot, because the number one thing I hear in class is I can't find the dot.
Yeah.
All right, and there's a reason for that. It's pretty simple to fix these things in advance. So I'll be doing segments that come from the class that I see constantly with red dot shooters, because I see a lot every year and I hear the same problems. And there's important things you need to know, whether it's from what battery to use to where your eyes should be focused in the process, or how to improve your draw. So it will be pistol videos.
Sure.
And to tell you the truth, I now shoot iron sights like I shoot red dots, because I changed the model in my mind. So now I'm a better iron sight shooter than I used to be, because this one is more closely related to the outcome and process than the model I was using before. So
interesting.
Oh, that's interesting.
That sounds like a video.
It does. It does. It's like I may have been thinking about this a bit.
So those are going to be three things you're focusing on, not the only thing. I mean, you'll have rifle stuff and so on and so forth, but you're just saying you're really going to focus on that. Guys, that's going to probably come out on Wednesdays. It will start the beginning of January, so the first Wednesday in January. Do you want to add anything else with that, or are you pretty good with what you got going on for those three, the focus?
I think, the best thing for you guys is you're going to see content that is put out in an orderly fashion, relative to something that you may encounter. And a lot of times I just have to patchwork stuff out. I put this out, I put this out.
So you're going to really think about like a pattern, if you want to call it. Because I know he's got a whiteboard that he's already started to write things down on what he wants to do. So.
And as a coach, I'm growing. I've gotten much better this year than I was the year before, which is really just a thrilling thing. And I'm seeing roughly 1,000 shooters a year. So that allows me to gather information at a very high level, because I spend at least 2 or 3 days with them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
awesome.
We'll be working on stuff like that. I think you'll enjoy it. I hope it'll help you.
Yes, we're very excited. I'm going to be doing something completely different. As some of you may know, I'm dyslexic. But I've also started, so this is a kind of an oxymoron. Would that be the right thing to say?
It is.
I am dyslexic, which means I have a hard time reading and writing, but yet I am now writing for Shooting Illustrated and having a blast. Doing the writing, doing the research, just having a blast with it. I've been doing it for several months now, and I just thought of something a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, it doesn't matter, that if my wheelhouse is going to be in video, or it's in images, or it's in the words that you can hear, right, audio, not so much writing, reading and books, then if I'm going to retain the information better if it's on video or audio, then why don't I put something out there? So I'm simply going to read these articles several months after they've already been put out on Shooting Illustrated. And you can read them there first. That's where they go. And then, 60 days later, something like that, I'm going to do a video and I'm going to put it out on YouTube simply of reading it. So you can listen to it in the car, or you can watch it if that's the way your brain works. Because we do have several ways to learn. There's several different styles. There may be one that's you learn easier with, and mine are images. So we're just kind of bouncing around a little bit to make sure that I stay true to who I am and my learning style and what I believe in, which is meshing several different learning styles together and seeing if we can recall information, store information longer, and retain it quicker. And it'd be a lot more helpful if you had images or video or audio. So I'm going to be doing that. That starts on January 5th. As far as social media, I'm kind of taking over for a minute. As far as social media goes, everything's pretty much the same, but we've added TikTok. But what this content is on TikTok that's going to be different is it's going to be more personality based. It is going to be Brian and I's antics. It's just for fun. It's just for fun. You're going to get complete combatant. You're going to get smart choices. You're going to get image-based decisional drills. You're going to get dogs and cows and horses and Brian riding tiny tractors. It's not really a tractor. It's just a lawnmower, but it's a tractor. Just fun stuff, guys. So if you want to join in, do it. It's fun. And if you don't, that's okay too. It's your choice. We respect your decision on whatever you want to do with your time and certainly your information and your social media. Right on? The other thing, I'm going to turn this back over to you real quick, honey, is Facebook. Tell me where you're going with that, the name, that type of thing.
So, guys, I'm going to do a thing called Facebook Angles, and I'm going to propose a question on a weekly basis. These questions come about, or ideas or things that I see in class come about, because I'm interacting so frequently with this, and it gives me a chance to get you to examine the context and to think about it on a deeper level, a more contextual level, and when it would work, when it doesn't work, things that may not work well. I find as a coach, a lot of the common sense advice simply doesn't apply to human beings. We know we should do something, but often human beings react very differently under pressure, or they do some different training methodology, or they technically change. So this is a chance for me to ask a question, get some good feedback, get something going in the alumni group, and I'll offer some insights on it too. And we can have a big group think about it. And the more that we ask good questions, the better we'll be prepared for anything. That's where modeling comes from. So instead of just accepting everything as it is, let's do some questioning. Let's see if we can find some new information, and maybe it'll stir some conversation and content. I haven't been very active on there, so this is my chance to do something that applies to my professorial style. That I like to, I'm interested in these things, and a lot of other instructors will join in and offer their own input, and we'll moderate this to make sure that it stays on track, and I think it'll be a great opportunity for all of us to improve.
That's awesome. So you'll put, once again, he said it, the alumni group only, so don't look for this on the public page. So alumni group, so it'll probably be Mondays, we think. And it will be a question or an idea or something that would be thought-provoking that will change your angles.
Look at that. Sewing it all
angles
together.
With Brian. But really, it might change your mindset or whatever. So we've done it once so far, and we had great conversations. Good comments. We had instructors join in. It was just absolutely awesome. Now, don't expect Brian to go down through 48 or 500 comments and answer every one, but he is reading every one of them. And when he puts an answer out, he's taken that into consideration. I know you did answer a few individuals, which is awesome, but then I saw that you also put a really good answer or whatever to what you guys were talking about. So it's pretty cool. So look for that probably on Mondays. And that'll be coming from, obviously, from Brian himself. 2023, we are already scheduled on our range or abroad, right? We're hosted. Now, that could change if we didn't fill up a class or if something happened to the host or whatever. There's always, something that could change. But I got to tell you, we are scheduled throughout the end of 2023, and we are scheduling 2024 now. So if you are interested in hosting Brian, if you're interested in hosting Brian, please let me know, and we'll get you on the books of 24. The Quest 2023, that's with Brian, that's with Scott, and that's with AJ for 2023. That's sold out. That's sold out in just a few hours. The Mingle, that registration opens for 2023, January 5th. So just so you guys know. And then, Brian, tell people about what we're doing with the range. We got it? I got it. I've got our notes here.
So think of this as the medieval term, but we've actually hired a range warden. And
Hold on, warden.
Yes, he's going to be taking care of the range. He'll make sure that everything is in good shape and
mowed and
manicured and landscaped, and so that you can have the best experience, because truly, I travel the country, and there are very few places in the world where you show up in a range and it's absolutely beautiful. You know, I stand in a lot of places, and sometimes they are, but ours is particularly beautiful, and we want to keep it in tip-top shape. Clint Brooks is our friend, and he's decided to take this task on, and he loves it as much as we do, being there, and he trains with us. So it's really nice to have somebody that wants to do this and be a part of it. And the only time you have Clean and Pew this year, we used to do it twice a year. Now it's only going to be once a year because we'll be ahead of everything. Yeah. And that's when we have people come out and they clean up the range, and we do a little bit of training with them. And it's a nice chance to spend time with each other.
Right. We'll probably be doing that in September. Would be the yearly Clean and Pew because like Brian was saying, Clint's got it. We're just so happy to have that, and he's coming up every couple of weeks, and it's a wonderful thing. And he was just telling me a story. He was here the other day that his son Tatum was talking about the range, and he called it our range, meaning Tatum's range. It was our range. It was not the range. It wasn't the Complete Combatants range. It was our range, and that's pretty cool. That's the next generation, so I love it. We have, as you may know, is that we now have those sound-reducing panels on our range. We've got 12 of them, something like that, and they're each 8 feet by 12 feet, and they kind of have 2 panels per section. And we decided that we were going to use that to display banners of some people that we support and love, that we think are good products, good people doing good things. So it is X amount for the year, and we're asking that you would send a 5x5 banner, and it will be on the back of social media stuff. It'll be on the back of YouTube stuff. It'll be on the back of YouTube channels, not just us, but other people that we're involved with. So it'll be out there. Like Brian did a seminar online the other day, and we had it was indoors. And so we made sure that these banners were just running in the background as nothing more than, once again, this is not blind. This is not stuff that we don't use. This is good, solid people that we want to support as well. And anyway, it's kind of cool. So if we have a relationship or you think we might want to use your product, or we already do use your product, talk to me. It's just, like I said, X amount for the year. Your banner goes up. If you want to continue doing it, wonderful, we'll do it. But it's just to kind of support you guys back. And the money goes into our range fund to keep things running great and all the upkeep. So it goes to a good cause. So if you're interested, you'll email me. The other thing we'd like to touch base on is that we get some people tell us we should edit our videos. Well, as you see, we run these. We don't edit. We don't edit, right? And if we have to take a couple takes at the beginning because, you know, dogs were barking, or, you know, I see Rolane in the background, then we would. But we just don't edit. We just want it. We want to be transparent. We want to be unique. We just want it out there, right? So when they talk to us and say you need better lighting, or you need to edit, or you need to do this or whatever, we want you to know, hey, that's great. It's just Brian and I, right? So I'm here, HQ, right? And running the fort, and Brian's out on the road teaching, and we do what we can do, and we believe in education. We believe in getting this content out there. We believe in helping and giving out free, right? Free education, but it's just us. We have a wonderful team at the Complete Combatant, but it's not this side of it. So just so you know, it's just us. So we are going to continue putting out good content, and it may not be flashy, but it'll be good. It'll be solid. It'll be sound. So you want to add to that?
Well, guys, we're not YouTubers. We're not content creators. No, we're instructors.
Yeah, it's just us.
And we have a training program.
Yeah.
And that's our primary goal. So all this is free. We don't have a Patreon account. We don't get reimbursed by any of the platforms. We're just putting information out for you. And every suggestion requires money or time. And those are both precious commodities in our life. So we want to help you as much as we can. And you'll have to put up with our organicness.
Troglodytes.
Yes.
I absolutely love it.
You can't expect Gen Xers to do better.
It's just us. Be happy. Is there anything you want to add as a closer that you thought of as I was talking?
Well, I'd like to say thank you.
Yeah.
We're honored to be able to do this. and we want to change the world one client at a time, and that's our goal.
Yeah.
And we are really, truly grateful
Yeah.
to do this. And I am fortunate that not only I get to do this, but my wife enjoys this and has her own side now, the training, and it's just fantastic. So thank you all. Without you, we can't do any of this, and we're truly grateful.
For sure, for sure. My closing is the same. Guys, thank you. Brian has never pushed me to do any of this. I have always enjoyed this in my life, and I've just took to education and reading and really buckled down, and I really like the decision side of it. And I'm working really, really hard to have just a tremendous amount of depth. And I've got 2 online classes via Zoom, and I do teach live on the range, and I'm just really enjoying this. And now writing, and I never thought of myself as a sponge, and I just, to Brian, what am I reading next? What am I reading next, right? So it's really great. So I wouldn't do this if you guys didn't appreciate it and like it and learn something from it. So thank you for that big time. And in closing, I think we all need to turn around and make sure that you see how bored our dog is in the back. Look at Rue.
Yeah, he's no longer impressed.
He's done. All right, guys. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of December 2022, and look for these changes in January of 23. And let's bring in the year with education and get on the range and learn, guys. Get out there.
Coming to a location close to you soon. Be ready.
Bye now. Okay, we're idiots. Bye, guys.
Bye.